have to say that I was heartbroken to watch this scene. A part of me wanted to rewind to the earlier episodes where Louis and Lestat were head over heels in love. Another part of me wanted to scream at the television, mostly because my dreams of seeing an authentic relationship played out on the screen were completely shattered. I know romance is formulaic and it's redundant, but when it's done right, it's also satisfying. Then I thought about the book, Interview with a Vampire, and I realized that it wasn't sizzling with hot scenes and romance. No, the book was all about how Louis loathed Lestat and wanted to get as far away from him as possible. And after watching the series on AMC, I could pretty much understand why. Lestat was a monster, especially when Louis had to endure his narcissistic rage. So in this video, we're going to talk about narcissistic rage, the cycles of narcissistic rage, and how you can avoid the pitfalls. So please stay tuned. The issue with many narcissists is that they are not fully matured. In other words, they behave very much like an ancient caveman, ready and willing to clunk you over the head when you do something wrong. Now, if you identify as human, then you know that we have inherited thousands upon thousands of years of memories from our caveman ancestors. These memories are so deeply embedded in our psyche that they have become instinctual. After all, our caveman ancestors didn't have the kind of problems that we have today, and they had simple solutions to handling things. If something or someone hurt or offended them, they killed them. Someone stole, they killed them. If someone didn't contribute to the tribe, they killed them. If someone slept with their wife or a significant other, well, yes, you guys guessed it, our caveman ancestors just killed them. To our ancestors, killing anyone who was a threat was a simple solution to all of their problems. But if we fast forward to today, we know that we just can't kill people. Society would erupt into chaos, and we might just find ourselves jailed or worse, maimed or dead from our enemy's retaliation. As a result of this, we are conditioned to think before we speak, to take a few breaths when we're angry so we don't say things or do things that we will later regret. In short, we have been conditioned to control our emotions. Inherently, we understand that we don't have control over other people, only ourselves. And if we allow our emotion to get the best of us, we may have to suffer the after effects and, of course, the dire consequences of our actions. Yet, the narcissists somehow miss this memo. They are, in a sense, underdeveloped and still operating with the mindset of our caveman ancestors. They work tirelessly to try and control the outside world and not the twisted fantasy that they have created from within. And anybody who doesn't align with the fantasy is considered a threat and thus needs to be destroyed. And like a true caveman, they're going to clunk you over the head to get you in line. Did you make or laugh at a joke at their expense? Clunk. Did you say something that bruised their fragile ego? Clunk. Did you, by God, offer constructive criticism? Clunk. Did you voice your concerns and emotions hoping to receive love and support? Clunk. The narcissist needs to clunk you over the head over and over and over again because they need to make you feel weak, inferior, and lonely. After all, it was you who brought out the worst in the narcissist, making them hit you, belittle you, and berate you with offhanded jokes. How the narcissist treats you is your fault. After all, you are the emotionally mature one. You have evolved over the last 1,000+ years, and thus you need to take responsibility for how the narcissist feels about you and himself. As a result of this, you need to walk on eggshells because you just never know if you're going to do something to trigger the narcissist. And if by chance you do something that really pisses them off, the narcissist goes into a fit of rage. Truth be told, not all narcissists are violent, but they all are vengeful. And once they suffer a narcissistic injury, they are out for blood. And many of them may not be able to clunk you over the head, but they're going to clunk you financially. They're going to ruin you financially. They're going to try and destroy you spiritually. They're going to try and beat out all the self-worth and self-love out of you through smear campaigns, isolation, threats, and of course, guilt. The narcissist is a modern day caveman who puts people in their place by clunking them over the head. They can never change. They operate with an outdated caveman way of thinking that doesn't allow them to take responsibility for their own actions. They can't self-reflect. They can't admit that what they said or what they did was wrong. Worse, the narcissist is always in survival mode, and little threats from you are toned to a saber-toothed tiger breathing down their neck. They have to destroy you because your destruction is based on their survival. Now, you think that they would feel remorse after an episode of rage or temper tantrum. They don't. They just miss the value that you used to provide for them. They miss the energy that they used to suck out of you and will work to lure you back to their side. Keep in mind that the narcissist doesn't love you. Most of the time, they probably don't even like you. The narcissist, on the other hand, doesn't need you. He needs you to be his supply and, of course, his emotional punching bag. That's why it's so important to pay attention to the red flags early on in the relationship. Remember, how people treat you is how they feel about you. Don't let little things slide. Don't make excuses for bad behavior. The narcissist is going to test you. He's going to test your limits. And you have to let him know early on that you're no punching bag and you are not going to allow him to clunk you over the head.